In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can budget and save your money at any income. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chanel Chong. So every week I'll be sharing videos on financial knowledge and also insurance updates. So if you're interested in these kind of topics, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button so that you get notified on all my future videos. Not sure how to kickstart your first financial budgeting? Well, when it comes to budgeting, it is not how much you earn, it is merely how much you save. So Robert Kiyosaki also made it to a point that it is only through your habits of being able to save that's when you can be able to use your savings to utilize into different parts of your investments. So that was how he kickstarted his empire. So in my previous video, I will mention that in order for us to achieve our financial freedom, one of the key points is to perform financial health check to look at our incomes on ins and outs every month. And the third step was to establish a financial budget for us to stick with it every single month. So I bet that we can hear a lot of people complaining every month that due to their low income, they are not being able to save a single cent. But is that really the case? I think it is just a matter of choice. Like every human is being given a choice. So if you want to spend on an expensive lunch, probably you have to think twice whether it is something that is really doing good for you. It may be just a pleasure, a short-term pleasure, but in the long term, will it help with your budgeting? So a budget is an estimation of your income and expenses over a period of time, whereby you can always revisit and re-evaluate again based on your needs and based on your change in your lifestyle. So the first step to financial budgeting is always tracking down your real expenses. Well, I also mentioned this in my previous video, whereby it is only through tracking down your expenses you'll be able to find out your real spending habits and eliminate the kind of expenses that is not needed anymore. So it is a pain in yourself, because if you're not the kind of person who is very compliant towards your spending, it will take you a while to get used to it. But this is just the first step for you to know how your spending trends is like and help you to identify which part of the category is the part that is taking your money away every month. So when it comes to tracking down your expenses, you have to make sure that the income should always exceed expenses to make sure that you have leftover every month. So the danger here is if you find out that your expenses happen to exceed your income, and that's when it triggers a danger in your financial budgeting that you need to lower down your expenses and increase your income over the long term. When it comes to tracking down the real expenses, some people love to use Excel spreadsheet, while some people love to use a handphone to track down their expenses right away, because if not, they'll be forgetting it. But for me, I prefer using the traditional way, which is jotting down on my diary itself, because I feel like when I am jotting down manually on my notebook, on my diary, I'll be able to see very clearly where I spend on, and I get the memory of where my money is heading out to. So in that way, I am fully accountable towards my own money. So this is more towards your own preference, because ultimately your goal should be helping you to find out which category you spend the most and which category should make your full focus on it. So it's only through this you'll be able to go to the next step, which is budgeting. So the first budgeting method that I think is really useful is the rule of 50, 30 and 20. Well, I even explained this method in detail in one of my previous videos, which I'll include the link below. So this approach simply means by separating all your income and budget them into 50%, 30% and 20%. The 50% should always go to your necessities to pay for your food, your basic utilities, your rentals and etc. Things that you can't forgo every month. 30 is into your needs, like the things that you can choose, like your shopping spree and your entertainment, whereas 20% should always goes to your saving. So some people adjust this along the way, like some people prefer 30% to go to savings, whereas 20% going to entertainment. So this is also a flexible way for you to find out how you should go about it. The second method, pay yourself first. Well, this is probably one of the traditional methods as well, whereby my parents used to tell me as well, if you plan to save 500 bucks every month, All you need to do is just save up the 500 bucks right away when you get your paycheck and not touch it at all. So whatever amount that you're left is the amount that you should be able to use to spend for the month and not touch that 500 bucks that is already in your saving account. The third method, zero-based budgeting. So this budgeting simply means channeling all your income into different kind of categories until there's zero money left in your bank account. So this method simply works similarly with the rule 50, 30 and 20, but the difference here is the percentage is based on your personal preference. So these few approaches that I've just shared may probably keep you busy for the next few months, but once you have mastered it, you will be able to see the meaning of budgeting and how it can help you out with your financial spending every month. So the key point to budgeting is that you should always keep within your budget for the category that you have specified and not overspend them. But some people usually tell me that they have the issue of sticking with the budget. So what should they do? Well, in this case, if you have this discipline issue as well with other people, you can try to use the envelope system. So envelope system is simply using the real money to separate your money into different categories that you have budgeted and only use the money inside the envelope until you finish the category. So if the envelope is left with no money at all, that's when you know that, okay, that is when I need to stop spending. But today, we have come to the cashless era whereby people are using e-wallets and using online banking. So that's when you can choose to even use the different accounts to help you to achieve this target. Like for me, I have several accounts for different purposes because I have discipline issue as well. So you can give it a try if you are having discipline issue just like anyone else. The advantage of having a good budgeting is it will help you to find out the necessary expenses that you have and the unnecessary expenses that you are spending on every month. So it also keeps you questioning whether that is the kind of lifestyle that you want to sustain. Is that important for you to enjoy the expensive coffee every month but not being able to save a single cent? Or will cutting down your expensive coffee but being able to save a small chunk important to you? So along the way, you'll be able to draft the kind of lifestyle that you wish to live on. Financial budgeting is a long-term process whereby it needs a lot of persistence along the way. So sometimes when we blow our budget by overspending within the category, we feel bad about it, but you have to tell yourself that, well, it's okay because as human, we do make mistakes. As long as you admit yourself towards that mistake that you have done, and next month, stick back with the budget and you'll be all good. With the financial budgeting, you will gauge what works best for you and what doesn't. That's why financial budgeting is a long-term process whereby you can readjust over and over again in a good way. So if you're the kind of person who just can't seem to save a single cent at all, so by starting it small, you will slowly find out the unnecessary expenses, and that's when you will keep your unnecessary expenses to the minimal and be able to save your first 100 bucks and 200 bucks along the way. Financial budgeting also gives you the motivation along the way. Once you have started saving the first 100 bucks, 200 bucks and slowly progressively making more and more amount every month, that's when you have the sense of accomplishment that you have achieved something in your life, and it keeps you going more and more. With that said, it is never too early for you to start budgeting your money at any kind of income. So this is a long-term process whereby it requires a lot of discipline, a lot of time. So don't worry about it, because as long as you're making a progress, you're doing great in helping out with your own finances. Always remember, Rome wasn't even built in one day. So if you like my video today, guys, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and comment down below. I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!